Hello, and welcome back to the 6th Street Underground, as Endless Zone Zero fan cast discussing all things ZZZ. As always, I'm your host, Eric, and I'm joined by my ever wonderful co-host, Brian. Hi, Brian.
Hello.
It's good to see you, bud.
Yeah, long time no see. It's been
Yeah.
days.
It's been days. It's neat to see you, and we're not both sweating horribly.
And we will elaborate no further on that.
That's it. We got really sweaty together, and now
as bros do.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Brian, we're deep in 2.1 at this point. There's a couple of events going on, and as we promised last episode, we're going to tackle the story today for 2.1. But before we do story, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the current events, and also highlight that I think when this episode comes out, Alice will be out.
Yes,
so we can talk a little bit about Alice.
She will be fully in Wonderland.
She'll be here. I keep getting this like dissonance in my head because Alice is coming out like this week in ZZZ, but in Genshin there's a character named Alice who's like been a huge character that no one's seen since the beginning of the game, and they've officially announced her. So like part of me is really, really excited about Alice, but not necessarily this Alice, even though she's pretty dang cool, and the new story really helps sell her to me a lot. At this point, though, beach event's going on. It's been going on for a while. Have you been able to do everything in the beach event?
Yeah, I was going to make a joke about when you said we were going to talk about the story. Mm-hmm. I was going to say, which story, the 2.1 story or the equally long summer festival story?
It was so much story.
It was good, but I was like, my God, they have put so much into it, and I liked it because you get a lot of character development for Yuzuha and Alice outside of the main story. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it kept going. Yes, and it kept just like piling onto itself. I think this is meant to live in like there is no VHS tape story for Alice or Yuzuha. Like I think this is both the event story and the character stories for those two characters. But yeah, I appreciated the amount of other characters we had show up in the beach event. Like I loved seeing just how many people they were able to pull in. They've kind of made it a staple of like any halfway decent size story beat, even if it's an event, is we're just going to start bringing all of our friends together. So, but I just enjoy the amount of times Belle just picks up the phone and everyone's like, yeah, I'm free. I can hang out.
Yeah, I could be there. I know we like are all supposed to be busy, but I can bring the entirety of the Outer Ring crew to come hang out at the beach for a couple of weeks.
That's a poor example because they are the ones least likely to take their overlording. But yeah, what Miyabi's like, she's like, there's no hollow to fight, and Yujuan's like, let me just beat a confession out of someone really quickly.
Yeah, like we can get Miyabi here. I think didn't we bring your girl here as well?
Yeah, Miyabi and Yanagi showed up.
Yanagi's here. Like, even though Yanagi's whole character is, I'm always busy all the time, I'm just going to be busy while at the beach now.
Yeah.
Is what she's going to do.
Yeah, there was Miyabi and Yujuan showed up. Lucy was there. Lucy actually had, like, she actually had,
Lucy was important.
Like, parts, which I liked.
I like the Lucy-Alice relationship. I like that they like acknowledge that they're both spoiled rich girls.
And they're two very different personalities.
Very much so. But I also just I like Lucy. So anytime we can get more Lucy content, I'm going to be happy. At this point, though, I was wondering about how you felt about the different mini games. Because I think last time we talked, I was kind of explaining them, but you hadn't the chance to really dive into them as much.
They were fine.
Yeah.
Like they weren't crazy, like complex or anything. Like there was just a little bit of actual gameplay to them, so they weren't bad, but nothing special.
Yeah, I think I bet you had a much different experience than I did with the shooting one with Yuzuha's event.
Oh yeah,
I bet on
Yeah.
PlayStation 4 that's a lot harder than on a keyboard and mouse.
It was harder on my PS5 too.
Same thing. I forget what generation we're in.
PS whatever. It was a little clumsy, so I was like, I was thinking like maybe I'll do it on my phone, but the phone didn't let you do what I thought you would be able to do, which would just be like poke the symbol and shoot the symbol. It still made you have to like use the virtual joystick to aim.
Oh, that's awful.
It was a little clumsy. The good news is the barrier for like maximum rewards was pretty darn low. So like even if it was clumsy, you could still get it. It was not as easy as the surfboard event. The surfing event was very easy. It was fun, but it was very simple.
Yeah, both of those were pretty like they were kind of, you had to actively try to not succeed. Yeah.
But it's okay because they're all secondary to the fishing anyways.
Oh God, I'm so glad that you don't actually have to fish anymore. You can get rid of that stupid mechanic because no one likes fishing.
I was split because I'm the nobody here that loves fishing, but like I would fish for a little bit and then set Fairy to auto fish and come back, and she already caught like all the things I needed to catch for the area, so I can move on to the next area.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they struck a nice balance of you can try and actually catch them, and then you do a couple casts, and then you just throw out auto fishing, and she grabs everything you need.
Yeah, and so like it's really just became a cycle of logging in and seeing, did she get a better version of the special fish for the aquarium? If yes, replace, send her back out again to catch more fish. Because I don't know if you know this, there's a secret title for this event, and an achievement attached to it, where if you get 500 Ocean's Bounty, which is the points you get every time you release a fish after you've essentially finished the mini game. If you release 500 fish, you get a title.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've just stockpiled all of them, so I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but
release them. Release once you've got your aquarium full and the points don't matter. Just release fish till you get to 500. Nothing happens after 500, but it's a free title about giving out fish. And it's like 20 polychromes or something. It's one of the big ones for an achievement. And since Fairy will catch fish for you, it's very, very easy to get. You just have to like add that to your daily rotation of like go check the boat, collect, and send back out, and move on. Do you think we will see more of this Invisa tech in the future, or do you think this was kind of like a MacGuffin for the story and we're good?
It's so hard to tell.
Yeah.
Like, because they have definitely done stuff where you're like, oh, this will come up again, and then it just never does.
It just doesn't.
So, yeah. The story itself was wrapped up well enough that I could see them not bringing it back ever. But also maybe they do bring it back.
I thought it was funny because, like, normally for an event like this, they'll throw in some kind of, like, whatever explanation of something just to justify the event, and it never comes up again. So when what's her name? Grace. When Grace is like, yeah, I have these invisible drones that can hold up targets for you, I didn't even register it. I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. That explains where the targets come from. It doesn't matter. Just for that to become the plot point for the entire narrative.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it seems like they were like, that is the entire plot point. Just,
yeah.
Like, it's a callback to earlier, and then they're like, all right, it's solved and never again. But also, yeah. I love how they're still inconsistent with the like the power level of the invisible material.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh yeah, like you can't move it or all of this, and then they're like, oh, also a bangboo was coated in it and then just dumped in the ocean, and
for like
it
a week.
Never affected it.
Yeah, you can't stub your toe on it, but you can yeet a bangboo covered in it into the ocean, and it's fine. No worries. I do think just seeing some of the early videos of Seed coming out, it seems like they're either
either actively or just like visually leaning into that tech, because like Seed, when she's driving around on her scooter, has like pseudo invisible turrets next to her that become visible when she uses her robot. So maybe that's a connection, or maybe that's just me trying to dress up something that's not really there.
Well, I mean, they did mention it in the story that they were like, oh yeah, Seed already uses this stuff, but like a better version of it.
Like way better. She can just do things.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Seed, Brian. Seed looks fun.
I'll be curious to see what her play style looks like, because we have an electric anomaly and we have an electric attacker. So I think we are officially reaching like doubling up territory of like now you can skip things comfortably.
Yes, I think like Alice feels that way, right? Where like she's another physical anomaly, so maybe she's better, but do you really need it? I wonder if they'll separate Seed from Sandby by like making Sandby be all about after attacks, like the follow-up attacks, whereas Seed will be, I don't know. Or you just pick the one you like, or you roll for both because you're a sucker because you're a sucker.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't played enough Hoyo games to know whether or not they actually make them mechanically different enough, or if they just start going off of vibes.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think they'll make things mechanically different, but eventually just the nature of these long-running games is you will have someone who is a flat-out improvement. And like the gimmick might change. So like they have a character, I'm going to use Genshin as the example. They have a character who was the premier fire damage dealer, Hu Tao. And her whole thing is you don't want a dedicated healer on her team because you want her to stay below 50% health to do the most damage. But if you could do that, she shredded everything. Then they released Arlecchino, who is a pyro polearm user who also doesn't care about having a healer on the team. That's because she can't be healed by anybody but herself, who is just easier to play and way stronger than Hu Tao. So like Hu Tao had a couple of years where she was fantastic, but just the nature of the beast, she's now pretty much been backburnered almost everywhere because this other character exists. But that was a much bigger gap than we're seeing with like Jane to Alice or Sandby to Seed. So I don't know if they're jumping the shark on that, or if they are going to make them mechanically diverse enough that like you could feasibly own both on your account and not feel like you wasted your rolls earlier on. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, just from playing Alice, she just feels like a better version of Jane.
It's snappy. She's really snappy.
I think she's got bigger area of attack. She is more burst. So like Jane's biggest trouble she runs into is these newer bosses are a lot more like twitchy. And so you can't just stay on your target like you could with the earlier bosses.
Yeah. They're like, I think you're not getting your full Cao Cao spin off without taking some damage or running Caesar, which you don't want to do with her anymore because like the whole beauty of Yuzuha was that like Jane became relevant again. I do think Alice is better. I don't know if you have both and you're excited about some of these upcoming units. I don't know if Alice is better enough to be worth like replacing Jane with. It depends on you personally, I guess. Like you, the listener, not you, Brian.
Oh, sure. My opinion doesn't matter.
I know what your opinion is, and it's Yanagi based, and so that's all we're gonna think about.
That's true.
I think like so. There are a couple things to acknowledge. One is that if you have a heavily invested Jane, I think it's Mindscape 2. Mindscape 2 buffs all physical physical assault damage. So then Jane Jane plus Alice becomes a dual carry comp where Jane's buffing Alice even more, and Alice becomes Jane's best in slot. for that team.
At that point, there's no point in even listening to us, because if you have a Mindscape 2 Jane, you have already decided to whale, and you're not missing a character anyway.
Exactly. And also, you probably, if you've got a Mindscape 2 Jane, you probably don't need Alice to pump out more damage for you. You're already clearing all the content. But it's there if you like both. You could run the team. I don't know, man. I think Alice, we talked about last time, I think I'm going to be skipping Alice just because of where my pity is at, and the fact that, like, even though Alice is better than Jane, that doesn't make Jane bad. Like, Jane's still really good.
Yeah.
And she got such a lift from Vivian, from like Yuzuha being out to buff. Like, the Yuzuha Vivian Jane team is already pulling its weight to where if you've got those characters, I don't know if Alice is as much of a value add. Except she do be cute though.
I was gonna say I do think at this point it is very few character. We've talked about this where outside of support characters, there's probably not too many characters that are going to be like, oh, you have to get this one over whoever you currently have. Yeah,
and unless it's like for a very specific, like they're also trying to build characters that build very specific team comps. Like I can't go into full details, but a lot of the information we know about Orpheus right now is that, like, she is an attacker, but she is designed as a supporter for this soldier and B team. Like, she's very niche in that regard, but she makes that team way stronger than even running Anby Trigger with Astra. So, like, that's a non-supporter, but she's really, really good in her very narrow niche. And I think we'll see a lot more of that coming up as, like, these major building blocks have already been established, and they need to just keep making characters, but also, like, fleshing out some of these teams that don't quite feel complete yet, you know? That's how I felt about, nope. Brian's like, I don't know. No, it's fine. Nope. It's how I felt as a non-lighter haver when Jafufu came out for the Evelyn team. Because, like, Evelyn, Astra, Kaleda felt like it was missing something. And Jafufu fits really nicely in there, unless you have lighter, in which case lighter fits there.
Yeah.
But so the other thing I want to talk about before we jump into story discussion, there's two things. One, just a reminder that the Wet Xial event's currently going, where if you just spend your energy, you get to trade fish, and you trade fish for rewards. And then auto chess is going on right now. I really like auto chess, apparently.
Yeah, I'm indifferent on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep, that's it. It's kind of a neat little thing, but, like, I got to gold to make sure I got all the the polys and everything that you need to get, and I was like, I don't feel a need to play any more of it.
That's fair. The story was fine. It took a little while for me to get into because it felt like listening to someone tell you about their D&D campaign, which to me is like one step below hearing someone. That's not you, Brian, because you have a wonderful way of telling it, but hearing other people tell me about their dreams, where I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, no, I kind of had to say, I was like, oh, okay, this is more of just a chatty one, and I was like, I don't care over much about the story. I didn't mind the auto battler. It is the typical auto chess. Either I feel like most people either really like it or, like, are indifferent.
Don't care, yeah.
Because, you get some runs where you're like, cool, I lose because the team I'm building, I didn't get any of the characters for, so there's just no way for me to recover. And then other times you get it and you're like, oh, I can't lose because by the third battle, I have my full team.
Yeah. What was your go-to team to use?
I just kind of switched them up. I used the recommended ones, and then I would just, like, switch up every couple just to...
Yeah.
Cause I was like, I like all the bangboo, so I'll just, like, switch around, and I didn't feel like anyone felt particularly stronger than the others.
I think, like, so I made it to Ether rank last night, and stopped there. Because and I'll talk about the factions in a second. There is an Easter egg dialogue if you reach Ether rank.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that because I had seen that you get a message from the Marcel group.
Yeah, you get a message from the Marcel group, and I won't give like all the details. It's not you're not missing anything if you don't get it. It is just another nod to the fact that lady, what was the lady who made the bangboo? Like the
Lightbringer.
Lightbringer. Is it Lightbringer?
Well,
sounds right.
You asked me and then I answered and then you immediately questioned me.
I did, of course. Okay, so sorry, man.
What's her name? Lightbringer. Is it that though, or are you stupid?
Is it? It's okay. There's some dialogue from not dialogue, but some a bangboo quoting her about like her ideas when creating bangboo and what makes them special. And the whole thing that makes bangboo special is not that they are smart, but it's that they're patient enough to find someone to work with. And that's what kind of gives them their, for lack of a better phrase, humanity.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is cool. But it's also, if you don't like auto chess, it's not worth grinding through a bunch of games you don't like to see it.
Yeah, I just saw someone posted on Reddit about it, so I just read the dialogue.
Exactly. I think if you are somebody, so because I've played a lot of it, I do have some quick tips for bangboo auto chess. Generally speaking, any character you pick at the beginning that can increase your money income is going to be good. So like Coletta's the best because she just gives you more money as the game goes on. If you don't like thinking, go Nutty. Because Nutty has Nightboo, and Nightboo is insanely overtuned compared to like anything else in the game. And so if you go heavy on Nightboo, you set yourself up to be victorious very quickly.
Nice.
Unless you're not, yeah. So like, because he has a taunt and does a bunch of damage, and they're insanely tanky. So even if you get like a 2-star Nightboo, it will always be the last thing on your team to die, and it's also pumping out. It's wild. And if you get like enough Nutty points, not only is he tanky, but the whole field is taking damage away on the enemy. So you really set yourself up to win. Unless you're getting like no Nutty coming up. The other one I really liked was Troublemaker, which is a little bit more involved, but Troublemaker gives you a chance to get coins and also free units at the end of each round of combat. And if you only have Troublemakers on the board, you'll always get Troublemaker units. So like, very easy to get your characters built up. But if you get someone you don't like, you can also sell them. So you're getting just more money economy. So you can get to rank 5 faster than everybody else. You can get more units on the field than faster. And then like you just snowball to win. The big thing that worked for me for Troublemaker, which is what I used to get to Ether, was the way it rolls. It puts a random Troublemaker on your bench if it rolls to give you a character. There's only 3 Troublemaker characters. There's a B rank, an A rank, and an S rank. More often than not, by like round 2 or 3, I had an S rank Belian Bangboo on the field, while the rest of the people I was competing against did not have, like, they weren't even rank 2 yet, or rank 3. So if you get a little bit lucky, it's an insane power advantage early on that lets you be more reckless with your money, and snowball to win. So like, that would be my recommendation if you're like, I don't like this game, or I'm not sure what the best way to go is. Go Nutty or go Troublemaker. And if you don't know what to grab a Nightboo, and it should be very easy to climb up to Ether rank.
You heard it here first. Trouble nuts to win.
Trouble your nuts. Trouble nuts to win. Write that down as episode title. I liked it. I think it's a lot of fun. I also think, like you said, if you don't enjoy the event, it's probably what you think, an hour, 2 hours of your life to get all of the rewards.
Yeah, it's they do the typical thing of I don't think you can lose rank until you get to gold. Correct. So you can clear all of the challenges without really struggling. Yeah, I did not find it hard at all to get to gold.
Cool.
Like I said, especially if you skip the story, you could probably clear the whole thing. Maybe 2 hours, depending on like internet connection. Like there were a couple times during PvP where like the connection would just like lag, and you would just be sitting there for like a minute or two while everyone's computers caught up.
Yeah, and like the PvP definitely takes the longest. Because like not only are you waiting for 5 other people to finish their fights and make choices and things, but like if you kill things quickly, you're just sitting there for 25, 30 seconds waiting.
If you do really well in the auto battler, you can probably get to gold in like 4, maybe 5 PvP matches. It doesn't take long.
It's not bad. And as long as you get like 3rd place or higher, if you are going for Ether, your rank will go up. So like you don't have to win 1st place each time to get your rank notched up. The most important part is completing the event gives you another special wallpaper.
Yeah.
Which I like those a lot. Like I liked the fishing one.
Yeah, I'm liking these like not character focused. Like, yeah, this one I think it was just a couple like bangboos hanging out.
Yeah, they're just chilling. Like it's less goonery. I don't know a better word. Like I'm pretty sure by the time we have 5 of them, those will be all of my backgrounds. As much as I love the characters, I really love like the chill comfort vibes that these like wallpapers give. I don't know. I'm glad that we got another one. I was worrying there for a second that they were only going to do one with that fishing event and people didn't like it, so they were going to stop. So I'm glad they're still doing more.
I think that's all of the events.
Yep. Let's talk. Spoiler alerting. Spoilers. We're going to talk about 2.1 story. If you haven't played it, you should go back and play it. It's very good.
Oh,
let's do it, man.
Hold on. You gonna? Yep. All right. The cat's being a menace.
Hey, kitty. I love you. While your cat's a menace, I will say, I know we'll kind of do a rundown of the major events from the story. If I felt like this one was a step up in terms of narrative storytelling from some of the previous story beats. I thought the pacing was really good. We had more cutscenes in it. We had more comic strips in it. It just felt like they put a lot more time into this one, and it paid off in a way that felt very rewarding.
Yeah. This one, I don't know. Yeah, I really like this one. I feel like they're getting less and less filler combat.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the combats that they're having now are like, or if they have like a lot of combat, it's in one string. Like when to jump ahead a little bit, like when we're crossing through like the mountain pass, you have like a couple fights in a row.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, you don't have like some of the earlier ones where you're just like, here's a fight and then back to the story. Here's a fight and then back to the story. Like once they start, they really like focus in on like fights making sense and being important.
They let the flow feel. I think what you just highlighted is what happened during the beach event, where it was like, beach things are happening, fight these guys. Okay, cool. Beach things are happening. Okay, so like, I did like seeing like when you go to a place with fights, there's fights. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like they would also like, especially during like, I guess normally what's like the agent stories, where it's like, here's Alice's story, do some surfing, more story.
Okay, I guess I'm surfing. You have to showcase the outfit somehow, so I guess I'll surf for a bit.
I mean, it worked. It's a good outfit.
How tempted are you to pull Alice just because you like the costume?
I mean, man, that's premium gooner bait.
It's pretty not subtle. Oh man. Yeah, man. So let's just kind of, we don't have to do beat by beat necessarily, but let's kind of talk through.
Yeah, I was going to do kind of
the story. Go for
general. So it starts, and I've got a bunch of like shorthand notes.
Cool.
And so I just started giving people like random nicknames. So the first line I have is that we got an invitation from our bestie, Grumpy Porker. Yeah. AKA Damien, the like mid-level manager of Porcelumex.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we get it, it starts with getting invited to they're doing like a quality control inspection after the events of 2.0. Mm-hmm. So that's where we meet the characters for the story for 2.1. So we meet Isolde, the military researcher lady who you can definitely tell she's going to be important in the future.
Yeah.
You meet bigwigs, Lucro and Ferox, like the two different heads of Porcelumex.
Yep.
And then we meet Alice. And
we get Alice in there.
Yeah, and so like this is where you first get like a hint of kind of where Alice is as a person, because like she was invited because of her family, and no one actually respects her or likes her, and so poor Alice is sad and immediately runs to her room, and then she gets attacked by a ghost.
So I wanted to ask about that, and I wanted to see if I missed something, because she gets attacked by a spooky ghost skeleton raccoon, right?
Yeah.
And like the next story beat is figuring out that it wasn't a ghost, and that leads us to Yuzuha or whatever. Did we ever actually acknowledge that like the spooky ghost was Kama and why Kama was up there?
So I think it was so they do acknowledge that it's Kama, because obviously it leads right to Yuzuha. But I think it was whatever was going on was an accident, because they mentioned that that's kind of what leads into more stuff is the shipping container that she was moving using the crane was heavier than it was supposed to be, which is why the cable snapped.
Right. And that's why Kama was swinging around on it. I remember them saying it, but they didn't make it super clear. And I was going like, are we going to acknowledge the fact that like she got jump scared by dressed as a skeleton for some reason?
Yeah, I don't remember if they explained why he was dressed as a skeleton in glow in the dark paint or not.
Yeah, I don't remember. If they did, somebody remind us. I loved it, but it was wild.
It might like if they did mention it, it was like a passing thing where they were like, whatever. But yeah, so then we follow the trail. Alice comes and we talk to her after she was recommended by Lucy. And we go talk to Yuzuha and everything.
I did real quick, thinking about the party. I did like the way they used that like initial social party as a way of introducing new characters, like you said, but also kind of showing us how Tops works, and like how every single person in that room knew why they were there, and why they're like, and the reason wasn't because they were doing a celebration. It was like very specific networking, and the people selected were there because you're trying to like balance these social relationships. Like it wasn't flashy, but it told us a lot about Tops and Damien like really quickly, and I appreciated that.
Yeah,
I did as a narrative tool.
Yeah, I did like how they they're like, like Tops is aware of, like they're not full mask off evil, like they're aware of having to keep up appearances, but also everyone knows that it's performative. That's why they send a random civilian military researcher. They send Alice just for her namesake. Obviously the heads of Porcelumex have to, but like, everyone knows that this is all BS, and nothing's actually going to change, but they also know they have to keep up appearances and everything. It's like, it's the typical, like everything is a play for power. So that's why the two heads go there, because, they're vying for power.
Like it's not a new thing, but I appreciated that they did it well, and it didn't feel heavy-handed the way it can sometimes come off.
Yeah.
And let us get into the action faster of spooky raccoons and then running around with Yuzuha and Manito.
And I forgot to write this down, but at some point we pick up a shard of a Claire Obscura. In the game, it's just called an Obscura.
Sure, Brian.
But yeah, so it's lab equipment that they use. It's a neat little thing where you can take ether outside of the hollow and test it, and you're like, oh, that's neat.
Yeah, like it. You're quicker at this kind of thing than I am sometimes. It took me just long enough to be like, wait a minute. They have boxes that can transport ether things outside of the ether area. That's a bad thing for the Exaltists to have access to, huh? Like, that could be pretty rough for us, couldn't it?
Yeah, if you could just, bomb an entire city with ether and cause mass corruption events.
Yeah, that would be wild.
That would be bad. Huh. But so that's when we find out a little bit more that, Porcelumex is still a tops. So they talk about how they've been pretending like they've not been doing well. So that way they can underpay their employees because of profit sharing. But they're like, oh, we're not making profit. And then secretly selling these really highly valuable devices. Who are they selling it to?
Yeah.
No idea. This definitely won't come up ever again.
It's not going to be important. It will be important.
But yeah, so then they talk to Yuzuha and they're like, where'd you get this from? And she was like, oh, we found it down by the river in a van. And then that's when they talk about Saloon Bay, which I have, it's cut off from society.
Yeah.
Because they're like, let's go to Saloon Bay. We'll take the elevator. And then you go there and they're like, Porcelumex has shut down the elevator, so no one can get to this beachfront slum. So I'm like, so they just quarantined an entire residential area.
Yeah,
and there's no way to actually get to it.
That's already clearly not doing well because half the vendors are literal children.
Yeah. But yeah, I was just like, I enjoyed how they because in 2.0 they were like, Porcelumex is a business. They're not evil. They're not good. They're just a business. They're not actively trying to screw over their employees. And then in 2.1, they're like, no, actually, they are evil. They are actively screwing over everyone as much as possible.
Yeah, it felt very Final Fantasy 70.
Yes. I had the exact
Did you get the same feel?
Yeah.
Shinra being like, that whole town can just live underneath our cannon. Whatever. It's fine. We're going to do our thing. No one can go down
if we have to wipe out a slum or two, that's a small price to pay. There's also an important note I want to highlight.
Okay.
Before, then they talk about we'll go through the mountain or whatever. Whisper admits that he is weaker than Belle in ether perception. So it is now canon. Belle is the stronger of the two siblings.
Now, Brian, are you sure that if somebody made the mistake of playing as Winslow instead of Belle, it's not inverted and it says that Winslow is stronger than Belle?
No, I have unconfirmed claims that even if you're maining as
Wheezing
Winnebago, he will say, I am weaker, but I will go ahead in your stead because you are so much cooler and better than me and everything.
You heard it here first, y'all. And it's official now.
You've been scooped. But yeah, sorry, what were you gonna say?
What I was gonna say is I think it's interesting, and I don't know if this is getting ahead of it, but it's probably not. This arc continued to reinforce that Porcelumex is not good, but Damien is not bad, right? He's kind of a sleazy dude, but he's not a bad guy. Repeatedly. He's just doing his job.
Yeah, it'll come up later. It's he is, he would not be someone you would first trust, but also he's not actively trying to harm people. He just wants to rise higher in the ranks.
Yeah, it's benevolent, or not benevolent, but it's benign capitalism as opposed to Porcelumex's which toxic capitalism,
and it kind of comes. It'll come out later, but that's kind of where Porcelumex was. We'll get to that later.
Yeah,
But yeah, so then, we sneak in, we get to...
Yuza involves herself. Like, she's like, we got to do this thing. I'm with you all the way.
Oh, yeah. So we go down. Yeah, we go down to Saloon Bay. And we start talking to people. At first, so we talk about a kid, and he talks about this ghost story about this, like, white-haired lady with a bird. And I was like, oh, this is a ghost story about Yizuan. Like, someone saw her in the hollow. And then you're like, oh, okay, that's just about Yizuan. And then it'll turn out later it is but isn't.
It is but isn't. It's the memory. Yeah. Get a lot of info from them. I appreciate Yuzuha being like this child fixer character. Just being like, I know everything. I got connections.
Yeah, she's very much the stereotypical, like, she was an orphan and she was rescued, and so now she's helping all the other kids and everything. Yeah. And she's super competent, and like all the adults trust her. And then while we're down here, Isolde managed to get herself down here, and we learn more about her and how she fought, like pretty much everyone. She fought in the fall of Eridu.
Yeah.
And she was visiting an old, like, friend's family, and they talk about how a lot of people were supposed to get, pensions and stuff for their loved ones dying, saving society. And then the government was just like, that's too much money. You get nothing.
No thanks. Which is wild.
But I also have it listed. Eric.
Yeah.
How much did you love Isolde's song?
It's really cool, man.
I literally have a note. I was like,
really
Eric
cool.
loves her bass-heavy song.
Yes, he does. It's I mean, I was so excited to see her kind of take the mask off and show up as the person that she is, and like how she opened up the path for like the rest of Opal Squad to be there. Opal's like, usually I shy away from like the military aligned aesthetic. Man, I love Opal Squad. They're so cool, man.
Opal Squad are really cool.
They're cool, and they're like they're just separate enough that they're doing their own thing. You know what I mean? Like, they're not an elite group. I guess they might be an elite group.
No, they would probably be considered an elite group.
They're also an eclectic group of ridiculous people. Isolde definitely fills a role of they needed a competent person to be kind of directing things. And her music's cool, dude. I love it. How did you feel about her plastic Denny gun?
Oh, I thought I liked it.
They had to sell me on it. I was like, this feels wild to me.
What do you mean?
The introduction of the Denny gun, I got her fixing it. That was cool. Then using the Denny gun as a way of like tracking the ocean currents to know where to go as like the next plot point was just wild.
I don't know. For me, that it was just in the standard. You need some way to continue the story, and they also wanted to show like how smart and competent Isolde is. So they were like, "Oh yeah, she can fix this gun, and then is smart enough to use it to like calculate tide, or whatever." Like, I didn't really think much of it. I just figured, I was like, it is the story. Like, the story of ZZZ is already ridiculous. The idea of someone being able to backtrack tide movements through a known object is the least of the weird stuff to happen.
Like, I'm fully prepared to just be like exactly what you just said and be like, yep, it is what it is. Sure, I'll believe it. But I'm also like, how is a tiny little plastic Denny going to react the same way as like a giant chunk of this magic Clara Obscura?
I don't know. I chalk it up to like the generic thing of like, whenever someone's writing a story, and they're like, and you're like, oh, this isn't how it actually works with physics, and you're like, okay, these are people writing a sci-fi story.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, they're not actually going to be physicists. It was like I read a book where like the author put in like the forward. He was like, this book features a lot of sailing. I did some research on sailing terms, but don't hold me to it because I'm not a sailor. So if you're like, that's not how this works. He's like, I know, but I just use sailing terms because they're on a boat. They're like, cut me some slack. I'm a writer.
It's like when you're playing D&D or you're DMing a D&D campaign and you're like, I said something. Don't ask me questions. That's not what's important. Like, I know you want to dig into this detail. That's not what this is about. Move on.
That's when I started hitting you. Well, I hit you guys. You're like, I use detect magic, and it tells me the school of magic. I'm like, oh, this school is story magic. It's story magic. Related. I didn't write down what form of magic. I just need you to know magic. Touch it.
Just move on. It's not important. Speaking of which, let's move into the actual hollow where we get some of the revelations of world building and story beats that, like, even though you could tell where things are going, I thought they peeled back those layers really, really well. Because we get inside the factory, and I mean, unless I missed something, that's when we start learning what they were doing inside this. I'm saying factory, but like what their experiments were about, and it's pretty messed up.
Yeah, they do. They go from like, you're like, all right, cool, like baseline investigation to very quickly like how tied together Yuzuha and Alice and these exaltists are, and like it becomes a lot more than just like just a generic investigation of like, oh, here's some information. This is neat. It's like, oh, this is very connected to the characters we're currently like with.
Yes. Well, like, so a couple of things. One, they did the thing that ZZZ does sometimes, which is there was a puzzle, right? To get a door open, you had to run around and check some notes and things. And the notes both gave you the puzzle information, but also gave some like narrative building.
Yeah.
I am not a moron. I do read. I didn't need them to tell me the answer to the puzzle because I'd solved it.
They do that of like, they're like, here's the puzzle. It's a pretty generic puzzle. And then you go and they're just like, put in these numbers.
Yeah. Put in 1113. And you're like, no. Give me the choice to be like, I don't know, help me out before you tell me the answer. Like, let me feel like I've done something with my brain today where I figured out that this is actually 10110 because I did the math.
Like, I like how they do it in like Stellar Blade where they're like, you've got the code. You can either remember it, or if you hit the I'm stupid and lazy button, I will just tell you what to put in.
Yeah, tap the hit. They do that with the new like the circle puzzle where you move the circle around to go through the different numbers. Yeah. They do it there. I was just like, don't tell me. Make it a choice. I know it doesn't matter, but let me feel like I've solved it. Because otherwise, what was the point of this whole room? You could have just been like, the door's unlocked, go on in.
Yeah.
But we learn about the Obscura and like how they work. We learned they've been manufacturing these things for a while. We also learned they've been doing testing on children, which
as they always do,
which is bad.
But they were doing testing on children to find good ether aptitudes for like perfect sacrifices, and they only had one success. Yeah. Code name Project New Leaf, which is in no way related to the fact that Tanukis use a leaf. Because it's not Yuzuha. Yuzuha's not the chosen one.
It's definitely not. I even have in my notes saying Yuzuha is ES07, isn't she? Before it was like made even more clear.
Which, I mean, I like the story, or like the way they do it, because they like, obviously you can put the pieces together pretty quickly, because like earlier they're like, oh yeah, she floated out of the hollow and she got rescued, and then like you you know, there's a moment where
She's
like
an orphan,
Alice is like,
yeah.
oh, my dad died, and when he died, I lost my hair clip, and then Yuzuha's like, oh, here's a hair clip, and Alice is like, this is suspiciously similar to mine, and so like they put the clues there. Like it's not the hardest mystery, but they do actually write out a mystery instead of just come out and immediately telling you.
They do a good job of. I think it's a catch-22 that we run into with gacha games in particular because of the episodic nature, but also just like writing in general, which is that like you don't want everything to feel predetermined. Where like, of course she was this one and this was the dad. Like they're all connected and everything's super connected and they didn't know, but now they know, and it feels like it didn't for this arc, but it can feel forced. But the other side of that coin is that we're doing all of this stuff, but Yuzuha isn't the child from the Hollow, and Alice's father wasn't involved in this project. And then you're going, so why is it these two that are even here? Like it could have been anybody. So between those two choices, I like when you get the reveals of like everything was connected and that like Alice's dad saved Yuzuha and like they're meant to be together. I would much rather it be that than for them to be like laying out these threads that they're not going to capitalize on until later. Where like it would be cool for like, oh, Yuzuha was not test number 7, it was somebody else. So now we know that character's going to come out down the line. But then we're also going, well, why was Yuzuha? Why is she here? Why aren't we seeing their story? Right? So
yeah, I think, and
does that make sense? Like that's
it goes on to like the idea that like that a lot of people are like angry about in general with like how a lot of creators are about like subverting expectations.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes that can be satisfying, but also sometimes like you like having the story you tell actually matter instead of being like, oh, it didn't matter at all, this is actually someone else's story. And I'm like, I don't like that. I feel like you kind of wasted my time. I like when like it doesn't always have to be like the most obvious, but there's a reason that like base narrative structures have persisted for thousands of years.
Exactly.
Instead of constantly just being like, nah, you were invested in this character and it was pointless. And you're like, that feels bad.
Yeah. Beowulf was not the real hero. Somebody else is. We're just learning about Beowulf now. Like, this was Yuzuha and Alice's story. I wanted it to be about Yuzuha and Alice. And they did that. And it felt really good.
And like I said, they haven't done that a lot. Like, most of the other stories have been like, there's not been like this mystery string of fate connecting people. It's been much more, which I mean, I think they even like call the this chapter like a thread of fate or something.
Yeah.
Which I like about.
Lucky. Like,
what's that?
Yuzuha's just like super lucky, so like it makes sense that all these things would kind of coalesce.
But we've gotten off on a tangent.
That's okay. It's what we do.
Yeah.
Here at SSU Enterprises, we go on tangents.
But yeah, so yeah, while we were in the factory, we get attacked by that creature made using the like cells of Yijuan's sister.
Yeah, like the idea of her sister, like the latent memory of her sister made manifest. It's really cool, man.
It is
cool.
It is really cool. And I like how they introduced her.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, like you can't beat her right now because she can just constantly feed off of the ether. So you have to they run and they get captured by Ferox. So they're like, oh, this is the evil half of Porcelumex. And he just he monologues and he's just like, yep, I'm evil. I'm with the Exaltists. We were doing these programs to try to create more perfect sacrifices. Now you're gonna die. Yep. Interesting. So an interesting note. What achievement did you get after you were captured?
I got the achievement for not talking to anybody, and I did it by accident.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because I got the achievement for Alice, and then I went and looked, and everyone's like, there is an achievement based on who you do or don't talk to. And they're like, and that's it. Like it's not like there was like one that was the right choice. They just wanted to give out an interesting limited achievement and since we can't currently go back and play the stories.
Yeah.
There's no way to get the other achievements, which is fine. I think it's probably just one of those neat things that they might put in like an infographic at some point of like, this amount of people talk to Alice first or Yuzuha first. Or
yeah. Well, like I did the RPG thing thinking that progressing the story would be talking to the characters. So I was like, let me investigate the room first. And so I accidentally clicked on the thing in front of the vent, and I was like, okay, cool, moving on. I was like, no, wait. I wanted to talk to them. I was exploring. So yeah, I wonder if, or I wish there was a way to replay it just so I could see I don't like missing out on dialogue choices.
There wasn't much. You didn't really miss out on anything. Basically, everyone's just like, wow, that creature was really strong. How are we going to get out of here? Like, it was nothing too wild. So at least you don't, it's not like one of those where they're like, yeah, you got bad ending because you clicked something wrong.
Yeah, if you talked to Yuzuha, you would have actually found out all of this cool stuff, but you didn't do that. You clicked on a vent, you moron. So we get out of the vent. I love the vent crawls. I like a vent crawl in a video game.
Yep. And then so then we find the clown sacrifice, which was cool and creepy.
It's a fun fight. I love the noises he makes. It's wild.
Yeah, it took me a little while because like like when he goes up, it's like, oh, you have to like hit him to like pop his little bubbles, otherwise he like, for each hit you don't pop is like one more like round of him flying at you.
Yeah, you have to be like super aggressive on him,
which I think is neat, but also it was a little spoiled because he was the materials for Yuzuha. So I fought him. Yeah, like I fought him a whole bunch grinding the materials, and then he shows up in the story.
Yeah. Is this when Monoto pops off? Like, I was kind of mid on him. The dude is like ride or die with his crew.
Oh yeah,
he's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. This is where he just like busts through a door and like tanks like just getting like beaten the crap out of, and he's like, just a couple. My ribs are broken. No big deal.
Yeah, it's whatever. He's such a trope, but I love him.
But yeah, and this is where we find out like Alice's dad died because he rescued Yuzuha and everything. So you're like, cool. Oh, there's good in the world, and I kind of like how like through the revelation, Yuzuha has decided to become the protector of Alice because Alice is so pure and innocent. Yuzuha's like, your dad saved me, so now I'm going to protect you.
It's really sweet. Yuzuha has a self-sacrificing bend that like feels very in character for her. And like seeing where that comes from and seeing her like turn that towards Alice because of her father saving her is really cool. I loved that connection.
But yeah, and then so this is this is we meet up and we get that like pre-final assault. Because
Operation Save Yuzuha.
Yeah, Yuzuha's like, all right, I got captured, whatnot, and then Alice goes crazy, and then we're like, oh no, we're doomed, and then Yijuan shows up and she shows exactly why she is Void Hunter level. She's just like, nah, fam.
Well, before she shows up, we get like we go back to recuperate, and Isolde's there again, and she's like, I've got the whole crew. It's time to roll out. And so like we get to see Orphrey and Magus, and we get to see Seed. I think Seed was there at the time. Yeah, and like Trigger's back, and I love Trigger. I love seeing Trigger anytime we can. So like I'm like, all right, we're in good hands now because we've got big sister Trigger ready to like essentially provide cover for you guys going back into the Hollow. And like that felt really, really cool, and it felt important. Like it felt like they were there for a reason. Everything made sense, and I felt like I personally, as the player, felt more confident because we were being backed up by Isolde and her crew, and I loved that kind of meshing together as a way of like telling the story, but also getting you ready for more of Opal's squad that's going to come down the pipeline in another patch or two.
Because this is where Isolde comes, because she up until this point she had still been going as a military researcher. This is where she's official like, oh, did I say military researcher? I meant I'm in charge of like the military's best branch.
Yeah. Now go talk to Captain Magus, and you're like, wait, Captain? Like, are you sure? Yeah.
But yeah, so then, we go in, we beat up everyone. Shifu shows up.
Shifu shows up, and I have in my notes, every time Shifu shows up is insanely hype. Like, she just strolls in, and you're like, all right, cool. Things are about to pop off because Yishuan's here.
So, and then I also have a note of, I think Belle is the strongest person in New Eridu.
Okay.
Like, under a specific condition. Because, like, Shifu showing up with Obel Squad and then the Bringer event. Like, the amount of powerful friends Belle has. Like, imagine if Belle sent out a message that just says, like,
help.
I'm dying, I need help.
Yeah.
Like
the powerhouses that would stroll in would be her superpower is her cell phone.
But yeah, I'm like she's friends with so many powerful people that, like, if the mayor needed help, obviously, you get some people that shows up, like Zuyuan, Miyabi might show up depending on if she's ordered to, but like certain people could like force others, but like no one else is going to get a bunch of bikers from the Outer Ring, the Shifu from Swabian Temple, a Void Hunter, like Super Cop, Nicole looking for money.
Billy's there for some reason.
Like, you get Obel Squad, and then you also get like
Obel Squad there,
Sanby. Like the sheer amount of power that Belle could just like lay down. Like, if the Exaltus ever screwed up and accidentally kidnapped Belle for real, like, it would be
coming. You know it's coming. Because that would be way too hype not to. You've got the mayor's personal like fixer team. Victoria Housekeeping will show up. You've got Mockingbird that'll show up. You've got Obel Squad. You've got the Void Hunter crew. Like, it's an insane, like, her quick dial list is the biggest superpower in New Era.
Yeah. Well, and they casually show it off. Like during the summer event when she like reaches out to her friends and she's like, "Who wants to hang out?" And you're like, some of the most powerful people in New Eridu are just like immediately hop on a call when she voice chats.
It's amazing.
Meanwhile, if Wingading called, he might get like a bangboo, and he's like, "Sorry."
Bagboo's like, "What do you need?" One Denny Boo shows up to hang out.
I was like, don't say Bagboo, because if Bagboo showed up, that would be, they'll be like, I don't want to catch that heat.
Bagboo will pop off. I appreciated, like, Shifu shows up to save the day and also to like confront illusion of her sister, right?
Yeah.
And that could have gone in a very different melodramatic way. It could have been this whole like, "Oh, it's my sister and I can't fight her, and it's so good to see you." And no, Shifu's like, "That's not really my sister. I'm a wreck house. Let's go." Like, bring it on.
I appreciate it, because I remember at the end of 2.0 when they were like, "Oh, we've got her sister." I mean, they didn't say that, but like I was like, "Oh, I wonder how that's going to be." And Shifu's like, "No, I'm an adult. I clearly recognize that that's not her." Like,
how magical to have a competent adult who's like, "I understand that this is I'm gonna have to unpack this for a little while, but right now there's work to do."
Yeah, she's like, "I'm not stupid. That's not my sister."
Yeah,
which I do enjoy turning that trope on the head of like the times where people are like, "Oh, that's my sibling." They're like, "No, that's a horrible monstrosity." Like, clearly that's not the person you care about.
Like, it should be good. Now, that boss fight is fun. I like this new boss fight. I keep forgetting that after the phase where you use the circle around you to blow up the spots on the ground, which is a really fun mechanic. It feels very like MMORPG mixed with action RPG kind of gameplay.
I keep forgetting that she has a massive nuke she does afterwards.
Oh, yeah, so you like go to the center?
So I go towards her, and then like Jane dies. Like, 'cause I think she was in one of the more recent endgame modes as like the boss. I think she was in Deadly Assault recently.
Yeah.
And I cleared it, but I cleared it with Jane dead because I forgot to get out in time. And even though I switched off of Jane was stayed on the field because she kept getting hit. And then Jane died because it's not one big hit; it's a sequence of hits. So you can't even dodge through it. I need to remember that after that clearing, I need to get out. like get out of there, man. It's gonna be nasty. But it's a fun fight. I like her addition, and I liked it in the story that it wasn't a cakewalk, but it was doable. And I like that she's showing up to add more variety to Deadly Assault. That's a cool fight. Yeah, man. So we beat her. We get everybody out.
No, that was basically the end of 2.1.
They did mention two things I wrote in my notes. One, 300 Clara Obscura units had been shipped out already.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff to mess with for the Exaltus. It's 300 units capable of bringing something nasty out of the Hollow. That's bad. That's bad news. The other thing was Krampus was mentioned. Krampus.
I don't remember that.
So if I remember correctly, Krampus is the Topps like internal fixer squad, like elite problem solver squad for Topps, which I'm sure we'll see more of later because it's like a Topps branded Oval squad.
Oh yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah. So I think we'll either see them as antagonists or that will be a faction that will come out for us at some point of this like corporate elite team of fighters and problem solvers.
Yeah.
Also, Krampus is just a funny name. Like I can't take it seriously anymore.
The only other thing is, so then you have the after where like everyone's like, oh, like you hang out and everything. And then there's like this super brief mission where the one disciple of Swabian that you can't play as is getting medicine. And he's talking with old man Boo, and they're talking about Yijuan and like the sword. And then he's getting like medicine for like it. So I think at some point during this point, like Yijuan's going to get taken out by how hard she's been going.
Yeah.
Because this is kind of the second time she's had like health effects because of how much like ether corruption she's dealing with.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't, obviously she's not going to die or anything, but I think there's going to be a big point where like, I think the Exaltus are going to try to just overwhelm her. And then once she's overwhelmed and out of commission, they're going to launch like a big offensive. And then that's when Belle has to hit the SOS button and everyone descends from the heavens and blows up the Exaltists.
Yeah. So I had two thoughts while I was playing through it that kind of like bounces back to some things that you and I have talked about in previous episodes here. This whole arc would have been far less interesting if it had been Eos instead of Belle inside the Hollow. I feel. So like
there's
it made
so much
sense.
So much more at stake when Belle's in danger versus when her bangboo is.
And them giving Belle powers, like Belle's ability to clear miasma made a lot of sense anytime we went into the Hollow this time. Like that was a necessary thing that they couldn't have given to Eos. It needed to be a person there. But as we've seen, every time Yijuan shows up somewhere, she is the powerhouse. Like she steals all the air in the room because of who she is. So they needed someone to deal with things like miasma and to be there, but it couldn't be Yijuan because if she was there, we wouldn't have. There would be no point in focusing on anybody else like Yuzuha or anybody else in the room.
Yeah, it would take all of the like the sense of danger would be gone. Because like you said, like they're like, it would be like if Miyabi was hanging around with you all the time. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh no, a bunch of ethereals. And she's like, they're dead. Like, oh, okay. Oh no, but like, oh, this is a scary Batman. And she's like, he's dead too.
So like I am now more and more sold on it being Belle in the Hollows instead of Eos. Like I do,
Yeah.
part of me kind of still misses like the proxy element, but this is maybe the first story that has been like, this would have been notably less engaging if it had not been Belle in the room doing the things that she can do. So like I'm trusting the developers.
I do think like they've kind of now found their stride.
Yeah.
Where it's like the like they made the changes for making it more compelling gameplay, and now they're like, you know, it's one of those where like they had to make the change due to feedback, but they already had so much of the story written where they're like, oh, it wouldn't make sense for like them to show up, but now they've had time to adjust the story.
Yeah. And they're setting it up now to where like the stakes are increasing and like the dangers are increasing to if in a couple of patches they're like, by the way, Belle is a playable character now, it would make sense to me, right? Whereas like if you'd asked me in version like 1.5, it would not have felt like it would make sense. So I also feel like they've set them up where Belle can be in the Hollow without her ever having to be a playable character. So like if they keep her in this role of like she can do ether ether app or like perception and like fixing stuff, but still isn't a fighter. Yep.
Then it makes more sense also why she's going with all of these other strong characters. It's because she's like, it's kind of like in like all of the heist movies where you have to bring the hacker with you because he needs to get into the system, but he's not such a badass that he can do the whole thing by himself.
Exactly. Like the hacker is there, but he's not going to fight for you. He's the hacker.
Yeah.
But we still have Wayne back at home base and Fairy's starting to show up a little bit more.
Yeah.
She's not like the super MacGuffin, but she is present again, which is nice.
Yeah, I enjoyed, she was in 2.1 and she also showed up in the summer story.
Yep.
So
the auto chess story.
Yeah. She's actually showing up again. So, cause there was times we talked about towards the end of season 1 where you're like, I don't even remember the last time Fairy like did anything.
Yeah. Her voice actor did not get a paycheck this arc. Wait a minute. Walk that back. It's a lot of fun, man. I'm excited to see where they go next. We're still a little ways away from more story content coming out. We're on the second half of 2.1. So it's entering more of a quiet time during the that cycle of releasing information. But we have Alice coming soon. We'll start getting bits and bobs for what's coming next. I think it's going to be Obel Squad heavy, if I recall correctly.
I would guess based on how much, because like they heavily showed Obel Squad and then they just barely teased the K-pop group.
Yeah, we did see her. We got to meet one of them during the beach event, which was fun. They have drip marketed Obel. They've drip marketed for Seed and for Orphe, so we know that's next. Like when it comes to character releases, and I don't know which is going to be first. If history is anything to go by, I think it's actually going to go Seed first half, Orphe second half, which is a bit of a bummer. I'd rather it be Orphe first half, but I get it. But we'll know more by the time we put out another episode.
I have 2 random notes. So they are new things I've noticed in Hollow Zero, and I had them written down for last episode, and if I don't say them now, I'll never remember them.
Yeah.
One, there is an encounter in Hollow Zero that I'd never seen before called Loot Dump, or I named it Loot Dump.
Okay.
I don't know if you've encountered it at all.
Well, what do you mean by Loot Dump?
So you go into this room and it's like literally every encounter you can have all in one room.
It's like 6 exclamation points.
Yes.
And it's all of them in one place. Yes, I've seen that twice now.
It was,
and it's
I saw it and I was like,
get it.
I kept waiting for there to be a catch. I was like, there's going to be a catch. And I was like, nope, it is just a rare. They're like, go nuts.
Yeah.
Another thing is if you ever get the option, because one of the things I picked up was like a curse card. You know how like you can change like the
Yeah.
Don't do that unless it's your first time. Like don't do it as the second one, because it will literally turn everything into a curse, and then you're fighting the final boss with like 6 curses on you. Because I did it.
That stinks.
And because I was at the like the difficulty level where so much of like the map is question marks, I was like, surely not every single node will be a curse. Every single node is a curse. So if you can get it on your first iteration, so that way you have you're able to get through 2 encounters, it's amazing. You'll be so broken. If you get it on your second iteration, it's awful. You'll be so broken.
It's miserable. I started using some of the characters I don't usually use anymore. So like this time through, my team included Corin because I wanted to get the free gems from using Corin. So I actually used like the polychromes.
Yeah,
I actually used the feature that like auto upgrades your character for Hollow Zero.
Oh yeah, that's right. I need to do that because I was like, I don't want to invest resources into like Billy and Corin just for like one run of Hollow Zero.
And because she was the like one of the promoted units for this week, I used her to get the bonus stuff and then ran it with Yishuan and Jafufu at like difficulty 4. So enough to get, I can eventually get 3 out of 4 of her like challenges done. And I'm just never going to get the 4th one. I don't care. But it was an easy way to get a little bit extra polys. And it wasn't too hard. And it's kind of fun to see these characters kind of come back out again that I haven't used since like the game came out and you had no one on your roster. Yeah.
I'm also excited that Alice is going to be coming out so I can finally get rid of that exclamation mark over Hollow Zero. It bothers me so much that like it's letting you know that you haven't done Alice's, but I was like, I can't do it. Get rid of that exclamation mark because it bothers me.
Because she's not out. Please release her. Yeah. If you're pulling for Alice, good luck pulling for Alice. We wish you well in your roles. And thank you all for listening. I don't think we do that enough. Thanks everybody for
especially this episode, which was a long rambling.
It's a long one.
Filled
this
one.
One's, some people like our long episodes. So if you don't, we're sorry. And if you do, you're welcome. If you like what we're doing, follow us, like, comment, subscribe, do all those fun things. Feel free to join the Discord server. We had a couple of new people join recently, and it's a nice place. It's nice to see people talking and communicating. I think we hit a benchmark because we have enough people that I had to make another channel for people to talk about things that aren't ZZZ related, which means there's enough people in there to actually talk, which is kind of fun. Or you can send us an email, 6thstreetunderground@gmail.com. You can find a link to both of those in the show notes. Our next episode will be out 2 weeks from now, so expect it on the 21st of August. By that time, there may be a new special out. It will be getting us ready for what's probably going to be coming next. Before we wrap up, Brian, do you mind if I self-promote real quick?
I do. Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.
Okay. Aw, man. No, but for real though, do you mind? I can cut this if you don't care.
No, Eric, you're in charge of editing. You can do whatever you want.
I have started another podcast. I do it with my sister, Frankie. It is a comedy vocabulary podcast called Big Words for Smart People. I'll put a link to our Podbean page in the show notes, and from there you can go to all the other places. We're on pretty much everything now but YouTube. I'm working on getting this one on YouTube too. So like if you're a person that likes your podcast on YouTube, we're working on it. It's a little bit more of a process. But if you like hearing my voice and you want to hear a little bit more of it,
Big Words for Smart People is a podcast where we bring you a new word each week and spend about 30 minutes talking about the word, but also just kind of making jokes and goofing and ramping off of that word. If you give it a chance, I would appreciate it. By the time this comes out, there should be 2 episodes. It releases every Wednesday. It's Word Wednesday for about 30 minutes. Thank you. Now
Eric,
we can wrap up, Brian. Yep.
That was so ecumenical of you.
Thank you so much.
That's a big word for smart people.
Big word for smart people.
I am 80% sure I did not use it correctly.
It's okay. That's like half the podcast, I'm pretty sure. We're going to get you on as a guest someday, Brian. It'd be a lot of fun. Thank you all again for listening, and we look forward to coming back next week. Trouble nuts for the win.
Stay nutty.
Stay nutty.
Trouble nuts.